First, I picked the top 5 cover bands on YouTube. Today, it's your turn. Stick around. Hi everybody, this is Sean Lange. I'm back. As I said a minute ago, I picked the top 5 cover bands on YouTube in my last video. I would have to say it was pretty well received. I got a lot of positive responses. A lot of people agreed with my picks. Maybe put them in a different order, maybe added one or two. At the end of my video, I asked for your choices, the viewers' choices, and I got an overwhelming response. So, for the last 3 weeks or so, I've been compiling those, and today we're going to count them down. Once again, these are your choices, not mine, so don't shoot the messenger, all right? Without further ado, number 10, the Petersons. The Petersons are a roots bluegrass family band out of Branson, Missouri. I'll be honest, I had never heard of them, but they were suggested to me and I checked them out, and they are awe-inspiring in a lot of ways. They're 3 sisters, 1 brother, 1 mom, and a friend. Everybody sings pretty much except for the mom. The 3 girls all play multiple instruments. The brother plays guitar. They have a friend that plays dobro, is very good. They do interesting takes on a lot of current songs. They do some older songs, some gospel Christian songs. Nothing like the record. So if you're looking for that, you're not going to find it here, but they're just pretty cool. It's kind of like a modern day Partridge Family, and I know I'm probably dating myself when I say that. So if you don't know who the Partridge Family is, they weren't bluegrass, of course, and they didn't really play instruments or anything, but you get the idea. I hope you will check them out. We're going to move right along here. We got a lot of ground to cover. Number 9, the Fendertones. I had several people suggest this band to me. They are basically a Beach Boys cover band, and they formed in 2004. They basically formed to do 6 tribute concerts. Just a bunch of friends that knew each other and loved the Beach Boys and thought it would be cool to get together and do some of their music, and a bunch of them on stage. I think there's like 17 people or something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, so they did those concerts and the response was overwhelming. So they basically started making some YouTube videos, and they are dead ringers for Beach Boys songs in a lot of ways. Check out Good Vibrations, for example. Really nice version of that. I don't think they're real active right now. They haven't put out a video for a while. From what I understand, they just get together as the mood suits them and do another video, so that, you know, another one may or may not be coming somewhere down the pike. But check them out, the Fendertones. Number 8, the Analogues. The Analogues are a Dutch band, and they were formed in 2014, and they are basically a Beatles cover band in most respects. They don't dress like the Beatles like some cover bands do, and I'm going to go ahead and right now give an honorable mention to the Faux and the Fab Four, 2 Beatles cover bands that are more along those lines. Both excellent cover bands that didn't make my countdown, but you know, if you're looking for a Beatles cover band, check them out too. But the Analogues play Beatles albums note for note. They have done Magical Mystery Tour, they have done Sgt. Pepper's, they've done the White Album, they've done Revolver. As a matter of fact, they even signed a 6 record deal with Universal Music Group to do Beatles covers along with some of their original material. So they've been very well received, and they're just jaw-dropping. Once again, they don't look like the Beatles at all. They don't try to look like the Beatles, but they just play the music and play it well. So see what you think of them, all right? Number 7. Brit Floyd. And I did in my last video mention these guys, although they were not in the top 5 countdown. They are, of course, a Pink Floyd cover band from Britain. As the name would suggest, they got together about 2011, and Damien Darlington was the mastermind, and he just got a bunch of people together. He had been in an Australian Pink Floyd cover band, and he decided to gather people from the UK, and they're really top notch. If you're a Pink Floyd fan, they cover it all. And of course, they do the big laser light show and big production. Pretty well known. They have toured a lot, especially over in Europe. So if you haven't heard of them and you like Pink Floyd, by all means, give them a listen, all right? Number 6. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just lump several people together because people kept suggesting these to me, and they all kind of play interchangeably. Not that they're all the same, but they, 2 of them may get together here, 3 of them get together here. Anyway, it's Josh Turner, Carson McKee, Reina Del Cid, and Tony Lindgreen. Now, Josh Turner and Carson McKee play together sometimes as the other favorites. All these people are very active on YouTube. Josh Turner, if you want to find him on YouTube, look under Josh Turner Guitar. I found out when I was searching for him that there's also another singer that's Josh Turner as well. It's a country guy, I believe. Anyway, these people all pay a lot of homage to 60s music. A lot of Beatles, a lot of 60s, some 70s, a little bit of current stuff, but mostly, their heart is in the 60s. And Josh Turner has been around on YouTube since 2007. He was one of the pioneers, I think. He originally did a guitar rendition of Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits, and it took off on early YouTube, and that's where he got his start. And years later, he's still plugging away at it, and they're all very good. They all put their own twist on all these songs. Once again, I'm kind of lumping them all together, but you can go down rabbit holes with each one of these people, I'm sure, and spend a lot of time just listening to their individual stuff or stuff together. So that's that. And we're to number 5. I got a lot of suggestions for this one. I was aware of them because of their ties with another one of my picks from the top 5. Rumours of Fleetwood Mac from the UK. They have some ties with Brit Floyd and with the classic rock show. They were formed in 1999. They've done over 800 concerts around the world. They're actually endorsed by Mick Fleetwood. So as you can imagine, they do sound a lot like Fleetwood Mac. Now, my personal feelings are I'm a big fan of Jess Harwood, who does Stevie Nicks. I think she's dead on Stevie. I think they come very close to a lot of Fleetwood Mac songs. A lot of people think they sound more like Fleetwood Mac than Fleetwood Mac does at this particular point in time, since Lindsey Buckingham is no longer with them. So if you haven't heard of them, check them out. And there are also several other Fleetwood Mac tribute bands on YouTube that are pretty good too. I'm not going to name them all, but do a little search and you may be surprised. There's some good stuff out there. Okay, we're up to number 4. And I got a lot of requests to put this on the list. They're very popular. I had heard of them. I wasn't intimately familiar with all of their music, but I've done a lot more listening to them, and they're very good. They're 2 twins, the MonaLisa Twins. And they were born in Vienna, Austria. Their names are Mona and Lisa Wagner. They're both multi-talented. They both sing. They both play guitar. They come from a musical family. The father, Rudolph, plays bass, piano. He co-writes and arranges with them. Their stepmom pitches in, helps manage the band, assists them with whatever they need. Aside from doing a lot of stuff on YouTube with just them 2, they also play with the bass and drummer and play live. And they had a 2-year stint at the Cavern Club in Liverpool. Not everybody can get into the Cavern Club. Of course, they do a lot of Beatles and that type of music, kind of like the last people I mentioned. They're hardest in the 60s, and that's the kind of music that they do. And they also do some originals too. Pretty fresh sound. A lot of the younger viewers suggested them to me. I'm a 70s child, so this old dog can be taught some new tricks here, and I think they're pretty decent, so check them out if you haven't already. Up to number 3, and I got a lot of suggestions for these guys. Number 3 is the REO Brothers, and they are from the Philippines, and they are 4 brothers, ages 21 to 31. The name REO Brothers comes from a conglomeration of all of their names start with R, and their mother's maiden name started with E, and their father's surname started with O, so REO. There you go. A little trivia there if you didn't already know that. These guys started out just kind of small time, just doing some, once again, Beatles songs and things like that, and at some point they got added to I think it was a Christmas pageant, and they were very well received. And these guys are not real polished, but they are very ambitious in some of the songs that they cover. You know, they're not a band that goes back with Pro Tools and fixes all their mistakes. You hear them warts and all. You may hear an occasional flat note or something. They're not perfect, but that's their charm, I think. Once again, they're not afraid to try anything. You know, they'll play Hotel California, or you just never know what they're going to come up with next, and they just really seem to strike a chord with the listener. I think people just like the fact that they just kind of get in a room together and they jam and play some songs that are really tough to pull off. They do Bee Gees, stuff like that, with all those falsetto harmonies. So a lot of fun to listen to. I hope you like them. Up to number 2. And I really got a lot of response from these guys, or about these guys. They're pretty well known. I had actually considered them for my top 5 picks. They just barely didn't quite make the top 5 for me, but in retrospect, maybe they should have. I don't know, but they are the band Geeks. The band Geeks were founded by Richie Castellano, and Richie has been around for a while. He is actually the guitar player in Blue Oyster Cult right now, and he's kind of an interesting story that he actually started out as a studio engineer and producer, and at one point Blue Oyster Cult called him up and needed a front of house sound engineer on short notice, and he dropped what he was doing and went out with him on the road. After being out with him on the road for a while, in 2004, their bass player quit on short notice once again, so they asked him to fill in on bass, and he did. Apparently no rehearsal, just jumped in and did it. So not easy to do, but he pulled it off. He played with them on bass for a couple years, and then in 2007, one of the original members, Alan Lanier, keyboardist and guitarist, quit. So he stepped into his shoes, and that's what he does with them now, is plays guitar and keyboards. He has done a version of Bohemian Rhapsody where he took like a week in the studio, basically just did every part, full-on rendition of this song, did all the vocals, all the instruments. So, look under his name and check that out. It's pretty awe-inspiring. But getting back to the band Geeks, they started out as a podcast, and he just gathered a bunch of people together that played their instruments and sang well, and nobody well-known or anything, but just that's why they call them the band Geeks. But they play like nobody's business. Let me tell you, check out their Yes songs. And I'm sure you know Yes is not easy to pull off. But for example, they do Roundabout, and it's just jaw-dropping. So check them out if you haven't heard of them. I think you'll be impressed. All right, folks, we're to number 1. I kind of cheated a little bit here. I did not repeat any of the bands that I had on my top 5 because I wanted to give some fresh ideas. But there was one band on my top 5 that just got an overwhelming response, and nothing negative whatsoever. It just seems to me like, hands down, this band seems to be the most loved, most respected cover band on YouTube, and that is Foxes and Fossils, folks. And I talked about them at length in my last video, so I'm not going to repeat everything, but if you haven't heard of them, 3 young girls and several old guys, and hence the name Foxes and Fossils, and they just do cover songs that are just really sweet. The girls sing together so well, they're just, like I said on my last video, it's like they're twins, like they're psychic or something. But I did not get a single negative response on Foxes and Fossils on the comments on my last video. So the other thing I want to do is give a couple of honorable mentions. I had several people mention these. In my opinion, these are more professional level bands, and I didn't really want to include them because I kind of wanted a level playing field. But Lake Street Drive and Postmodern Jukebox both got some people requesting them, and I'm familiar with them. They're both very well known. I just felt like they were a little bit more on the professional side. They have albums and have charted on Billboard and things like that, record deals and all that. So not really what I had in mind for these 2 videos, so that's why I did not include them. But anyway, once again, if you have some thoughts of your own, feel free to comment, and thank you for listening. Take care.